Texas Podcast Massacre contains spoilers and adult language. For more horror, visit us at our website at texaspodcastmassacre.com. This is Texas Podcast Massacre.
Welcome to another episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, coming to you from Houston, Texas. I'm your host, Mitch, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts, Nate.
What just happened?
And Lisa.
For the last time this season, down in Castle Rock.
That's right. This is, again, our bonus episodes we are doing for our full Castle Rock coverage, and this is the last time we will be, well, the last episode anyway. We may have one more episode to talk about the season in review.
Not after this episode.
Oh, well.
I was just going to say, I'm challenging Lisa. Do we even know we're down at Castle Rock at this point? Who knows? We've never even answered in the show if we're at Castle Rock, down or up. We have no clue.
Yeah. This is the finale that we'll be talking about today. There's a lot to unpack here, and I know just from the prep for this meeting or this episode, there's some strong opinions. So I'll leave it to y'all. What do y'all want to start with this one?
I don't even know. Do we just jump into what we thought overall?
Yeah. So what was your impression about this episode, Lisa?
Hot garbage.
Hot garbage. Wow. Strong
I'm
take.
so mad because I really did enjoy the rest of this show. It sucked me in. It had some great storylines. And then I just feel like this entire episode was just a huge cop-out.
Did you guys get Abrams? Is this Abramsy?
Yeah, I feel like we did.
I mean, that's part of it.
I really do. I just, gosh, they just, we got losted.
Yeah,
because they didn't answer
like,
a single question.
Yeah.
You went back to the abusive, like, significant other. Like, is that what it feels like?
We were to see a paycheck in real life. We never left. We could never leave this relationship with Castle Rock. I agree. I didn't say it in the last episode review. Y'all were a little bit more higher on the show. I was already kind of starting to check out. I've read this book before.
You didn't enjoy the Henry Deaver episode?
I had a gut feeling this was not going to be satisfying. And yeah, I don't think from a horror show perspective, this show really probably wasn't for me. It wasn't that it was bad, but yeah, I think toward the end it was losing my interest. When it started getting into this whole like weird noise that's supposed to be the voice of God and all this, and now we're jumping around in parallel time. I feel like the tone of the whole show started shifting, and then this episode, yeah, I agree. It's very little was really. I mean, Nate, what did we learn from this episode? Did we really actually come to any sort of actual conclusion about anything?
We learned one thing, that the Reverend Dad was pushed down to breaking his back, almost dying by Henry.
Yeah.
We learned
that wasn't even that big of a shocker.
It wasn't that big of a twist, but it was confirmed. So that was the reveal. Everything else was mired in ambiguity. And look, out of all of us, I am probably the one who likes like the ambiguous endings, like the weird whatever things that happen. And this was so unsatisfying. It was basically like, hey, remember episode 9 when we got business casual Bill Skarsgård's backstory and how he's very sympathetic and it's actually not his fault that he's there? Yeah, let's just like either say that happened and fuck you, or that didn't happen, he was tricking you, and also fuck you. Like there's no it was like you're screwed either way. That whole episode was a waste, either direction. So it kind of sucked. That sucked very hard. We basically ended up where we started, with Bill Skarsgård getting locked into Shawshank by a person who thinks he's the devil, but doesn't really know. And we almost went nowhere. Other than episode 7, The Queen, amazing episode. Watch that, everybody. Other than that, do not watch this ending. This episode is titled Romans, and like Romans, I will never go back to this. I'm never gonna read / watch this again. So
yeah.
So I did think so. Nate, was it episode 8 with the B&Bers, and you were getting annoyed at all the characters that they just seemingly introduced for no effing reason?
Yeah.
So I mean, someone online said something that I really resonated with. They go, "What was the point of Wendell? They brought him in. He was just there. He may have heard this weird schisma thing, and then that was it."
Yeah, people were falling off so many. All right, let's do a round table. Loose ends, questions that never got answered that you wanted answered.
Oh, I have a million.
Yeah, well, give me some of the top ones.
Start off with one of them.
Was that backstory bullshit or was it real?
The witch backstory
For Skarsgård.
Oh yeah.
Was he really alternate universe Henry Deaver, or did he just come up with that to convince Molly to?
There was a whole episode. How could that have been made up fully? Like, it was very specific.
I don't know.
Right?
The thing that still makes me think that it wasn't bullshit was because Molly had a flashback of herself dead in the woods.
Mm-hmm. I think piggyback question I still have is, we had random people in the schisma. Who the hell were they? Why were they important? Were they obviously weren't important for this series arc anyway. Also, who shot Molly in the alternate timeline? Maybe it was a stray bullet. Maybe it was. Who knows? Maybe I don't know.
The who shot JR of our time. Who shot Molly? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I guess we got some definitive. I mean, very weirdly, we got this sort of Molly did admit to killing, Henry's dad, but
that was episodes ago.
Well, no, I know that, but I still wasn't sure if we were going to find out that Skarsgård had something to do with it. Again, my thought was that she was sort of compelled to somehow. I don't know. I still don't really understand her logic or rationale for why.
So actually, that's another thing they did. They did address this. The reason that Henry pushed the dad, and I also think the reason Molly killed him, is because he was planning on killing Sissy Paycheck.
No, I totally get why Henry shoved him off the cliff.
Yeah, so
because he was protecting his mom.
And I think
totally get that.
And I think Molly might have been able to see that.
They didn't connect that dot very well.
Yeah. Oh, they didn't. They connected it none. They showed that like the second episode and never showed it again. Yeah. Also, she sees the Reverend guy as like a zombie or ghost.
Oh yeah.
What happened to that? That never showed up again, ever. No. For any reason.
His the visions of him at the church giving his sermon.
Yeah.
With the messed up face.
That was weird. Let's talk about the ridiculous thing. What happened to Bill Skarsgård's face that made him look like a werewolf for a second?
Well, I think he was supposed to look like Henry's dad, but it
was like a werewolf. It was like a weird. How would you describe a zombie? It was a weird
one of the interviews
Voldemort.
with the producers said that was supposed to be him, but 300 years old. So
it's like it's like a Dorian Gray, like you see,
pretty much something like that. Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, here's the thing. If you have to learn that from a obscure producer interview, it's not an effective scene.
Yeah, it's not like we're talking about The Witch where like the whole thing is set in the 1600s and they explain some of it, but there's other 1600s level folklore mixed in that you maybe like, pick up on subtly. This is
right.
A guy's face was a zombie.
Like things that work well when they're open to, like the endings where it's open to interpretation, it's done that way because everything is still somewhat explained. They let you just make the decision for yourself. Yeah, I'm fine with things like that.
You know the rules both directions and you decide which direction it went. This way, we know none of the rules either direction and you are confused.
This, and you keep saying Abrams, but particularly, when I think of like shows like Lost, right? It just felt like they started with an idea. They sort of had some like high point moments they wanted to bring up and just like, throw the nostalgia act and on you. But then I don't think they really had a full plan for how everything was going to connect. They were just kind of throwing weird stuff in there to make you kind of question. And that's not good writing. That's just, throwing crap on the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah. And of course, I mentioned in the last episode, I said Bill Skarsgård's the good guy. It's not his fault. And I was simultaneously 100% right and 100% wrong somehow. I don't know how that was possible, right? I mean, because Lisa and I were saying it wasn't his fault, right? The last episode, and now it's like, kinda.
Well, and
like no, but yes, but no.
The episode, he's got that like smirk. So then everyone's like, "Well, what the hell is that supposed to mean?"
What was the smirk? The smirk in the zombie face, 100% unnecessary. That was real. That was too heavy-handed, in my personal opinion.
So do you think, okay, so let's just make our own assumption here for a second.
Yeah.
So his backstory,
we don't have anything else.
His backstory was true. He's alternate universe Henry Deaver. He's stuck here. He wants to go home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe. Did he?
What a dick. He wants to go home. What a horrible person.
This is like Homeward Bound. This is a Homeward Bound 7 or whatever.
I'm thinking maybe being trapped for 27 years has turned him evil. And he doesn't really want to go home. He just wants to cause chaos.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't think it's turned him evil. I think he'll do anything to leave. Including the craziest scene in the episode, causing a lot of deaths in that police station. Holy shit.
That was nuts.
Yeah.
That was actually even, I would say, better done than the Shawshank shooting scene.
Yeah.
I think it was more impactful.
Brother.
Yeah.
I don't know why it took me so to realize that was one of the Culkin brothers. When he's just like, don't go out there.
Yeah, you know why? Because his character was worthless.
Yeah, that whole storyline. There was so many storylines that were just
like let's make two
dumb
characters that has like a, first of all, sign language monologue. Loved that. Other than that, we get them in a trailer that has foam padding. Let's spend a whole episode, or let's spend half an episode on that. Like that was really unnecessary.
Yeah,
but the scene in the police station was pretty brutal and I think very well executed. No pun intended on the executed part, but that was well done. But yeah, they made it seem like he was the devil and evil. My theory is that he is alternate. He's business casual, Henry Deaver. He gets locked up because all this bad stuff happens because the schisma is saying this doesn't belong here. So everything bad happens, just like the other young Henry, right? On the other direction was causing bad things, right? Then
we don't know. I don't know that we're never really shown that he's causing any bad things.
No, but the young Henry in the 9th episode, which I apparently we're led to believe it might not be true, which again, what's the point of the episode if it's not true? Why show us this? But the other Henry, other people were doing bad things when he was found also on the other side. So maybe the Bill Skarsgård is the schisma is doing bad things around him, and he's learned, or it's possible for him to slightly direct that badness. That's what I'm thinking. He can kind of direct it a little bit. So that would explain how he made the police shooting happen, or certain things go in his favor, because bad things were going to happen anyway. But he kind of like
it explains the birthday party if he's maybe testing his ability
exactly
now that he's out.
So he could just be a dude who wants to get home, and he'll direct murder at people to get there because it's been 27 fucking years. He's got a kid at home. And if you think about it, Henry, current Henry, man, this is so ridiculous. Current Henry, like, forgot and then just started remembering in the last episode some of the things that happened when he was on the other side, right?
Yeah.
So if he went back, technically, he might not remember any of this terribleness happened, which makes you want to leave even more, because then you forget, right? So, like, that's a very powerful motivator. So I would get why, if he's had 27 years to maybe learn how to manipulate the schisma a bit, because he's a interdimensional traveler. God. Maybe that's how he does some of that stuff. So he's not like the devil. He just has, he's been outside for so long that he knows a little bit.
You know,
that's my best guess. I have no clue if that's right.
It shows like this that actually, you know, when we reviewed The Endless, shows like this make me appreciate the really strong time concept in that one. Without giving much away here, but
yeah, when it gets fuzzy, it seems just lazy. Like it's not like, if it's a tighter, like more defined thing, then you have like a defined thing to work with, and it makes it a little sharper. Yeah. You've got to pick. You're either going to go full Terminator rules and you got to stick to it, or you're going time cop, or you can't just, yeah, I agree.
Speaking of time, I feel like I've already spent too much time on talking about this episode.
Wow.
My question for you guys is, where does this leave us for next season? Are you guys even at all interested in watching season?
Lisa, it sounds like you want to travel to a dimension where this show never happened.
Pretty much.
Or this last episode never happened.
Or the ending was better.
Or she goes to a dimension where this show was good. Oh, okay. Satisfactory ending.
Yeah.
So I'll answer you. So that's a great segue. Best part of the episode was not part of the episode. So the best part of the episode was in the credits sequence.
Yeah.
You got Jackie Torrance. Did I not call that she would be used 0% at the end of this season? Which she was not used in any way, and it was a total waste. She's writing a book or a blog or something called Overlooked, which is the most non-subtle reference to Shining ever. Saying that
nothing about her characters is subtle.
Yeah, it's like
do you get it?
It's like it's like
Shining.
It's like someone who's like got like a permanent wink wearing a shirt that's a white shirt with black text that just says Stephen King, who's like elbowing you. Like that's right. That's what this character is. Apparently, maybe season 2 is her going to the Overlook to pick up where Uncle left off, which to me sounds a million times better than how this season ended. So I'm actually fairly excited. If they start over, get rid of all this nonsense, probably I'm assuming it's going to be an American Horror Story-esque move, Dark Shadows-esque move, where totally different storyline, but you keep the same actors or maybe some of them. I would love to see that. That seems way more appealing to me.
See, I don't know. I'm torn, right? At one point, they did an original sort of story with some kind of throwback references just to kind of make you, kind of give you a little bit of nostalgia. The only thing that really is like an actual, like, this happened in this universe was The Shining. There's no real Carrie reference outside of Sissy Page.
Well, there was a Cujo reference. There was
but it's all very very
Shawshank Redemption reference.
Well, Shawshank is there, yeah, sure, but they don't. No one's mentioning Andy.
Well, no, they mentioned the previous head of the prison had shot himself in the office, which is from the movie.
Oh, true. So yeah, you're right. So in this world, Shawshank and The Shining actually have happened, are real stories, versus everything else just sort of like a kind of a tip of the hat to the viewers. I guess I don't know if I want them messing with a story. I'm almost afraid that they're going to Abrams The Shining, and it's going to be some weird thing where she's going to somehow go into a like okay, so you know the very ending of The Shining with the photograph, right? What if that's the alternate reality Jackie told? You know, like I don't want them to. I almost don't want them to touch on that.
You're saying you just want to leave it alone.
I'd almost prefer them to do another original story and just maybe stick a little bit more to horror, like a little more, horror theme.
So that's good. What would you like to see, Lisa? So it sounds like you obviously did not like the ending of this. What would you like what would get you back in season 2?
The scariest part of this season was how disappointing it was.
But the episode The Queen, that was such a good episode.
That was fantastic. And I really enjoyed the Henry Deaver episode 9.
Yeah, I thought that was great too.
Yeah.
If it's true. God.
I don't know what I want to see next season.
Yeah.
What I want to see next season is them to come up with an ending first and then work their way backwards. And I hope they get enough feedback from this season to do that. And I don't know.
The ending
I
of the
keep
season,
giving them the benefit of the doubt. Like, should I rewatch this season? Did I miss clues that would actually tell me what happened? But I don't think so.
Lisa, the ending of season 2 is Here Comes Jackie. And then
pretty much.
You work about. I mean, that would be better than this ending. But okay, so I guess we didn't really gone over the beats of the story, but basically the beats of the story is, everyone gets arrested. Sorry. Everyone gets arrested. Skarsgård causes a mass murder. They break out. He holds a gun to him terribly. Said 27 years to go. Like, imagine how this would go, and fails absolutely miserably. Has a zombie demon face for a second and some like lightning conveniently. Also, hey, remember when there was a huge forest fire for no reason? I guess that was a thing in the season.
There was so much stuff that was just thrown in there for no reason.
No reason. Sure. Birds are falling. I guess that's the schisma. Schisma makes birds not fly correctly. Who knows?
Hey, at least it didn't explode. So there's that.
Yeah. Well, Birdemic might have got something on this on this show. But then Skarsgård gets tables turned. He's got a gun on him. Shawshank shut down because everyone got murdered.
1 year later,
and when it gets shut down, John Cusack's sister, I don't remember what her name was, the warden, goes to Molly. I think that the guy can like put this, like when he touches things, the schisma goes on it. Kind of like the fist bump made the guy go crazier and crazier. He touched it.
Oh yeah.
He touched the chess piece, then gave it to the warden, who then touched it, gave it to Molly, walked straight into a bus, which it's like a Rube Goldberg machine of having him escape prison. That was actually pretty awesome too. So I appreciate that. So she dies, gets hit by a bus like massively, like Wizard of Oz. The house lands on the witch style. I mean, it was like the legs are dangling. That's it. Then, of course, then they do the escape thing. Then Henry does the same thing that Warden Lacey did in the very first episode. Locks Skarsgård up in one of the drums in the now abandoned Shawshank, and goes to feed him, and doesn't know if he's right or not, and if the guy's the devil or not, which I don't think he is, but he thinks he might be, and he locks him up and he takes him a cheeseburger to feed him. And then Bill Skarsgård has literally the creepiest smile in the history of Earth. And we've almost accomplished nothing the entire show.
Yeah.
Yep, that's about right.
Yeah. I mean, what do y'all think about that? Let's talk about that very last scene, right? So he's not imprisoned. Henry Deaver is trying to figure out if he's done a good thing or not. He brought him a burger and fries. So,
it's
that.
Christmas.
So you brought him burger and fries, huh? No ham.
Classic. This is like a
hamburger.
this is a worse
don't even cheese on it, Jesus.
Christmas dinner than A Christmas Story. I mean, it's like, come on, really? Give me some Chinese food, something. I mean, come on.
Fa rah 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 rah. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't quite. Yeah, I'm curious. So what do you think the grin was about?
The grin was about the writers having no effing idea what they were doing.
Yeah, it's like when you get nervous and you just like kind of like smile like that. That's how they ended the show, with like a nervous smile. Like, did we do it? And then
is it a hit? Did we win an award yet?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you might win an award for the Queen because that was great, but not for this episode.
She should.
This episode is winning 0 awards. I've seen on the internet that some people loved the ambiguity. The problem is, if that was the only, it's like Inception. Inception, it's a very detailed world, and every character, and the motivations, and then when the top is spinning and it wobbles a little bit, it's either A, you're still in the dream, right? Or B, you're in the real world. And there's 2 options. And the ambiguity is, I know exactly what either would be, and I have to figure out which one I think it is and the implications of both.
Well, and you have to wonder if they cut the movie at a point where you're like, oh, is it about to fall? Oh no. It's done in such a way and well written enough that you can piece together. We can't piece any of this together.
I don't know the implications. Like, say he was locked up falsely. Is it because he's a zombie guy? Only in lightning? Only in lightning flashes do you see his Dorian Gray-esque thing? Like, I don't, or he could be episode 9 person falsely imprisoned. That's one option. The other option could be anything. Is he a devil? Is he a demon? Did someone piggyback him in the schisma? Some soul from someone murdered from the 1700s that's always been here? Or I don't know what it is. And so that makes the ambiguity, it's too much. You need to define the terms and then make the term what happened ambiguous, not the actual, like, what is it is ambiguous too. Like, that's just too much. Yeah.
Totally agree. I mean, ambiguity works when it's a binary choice. It either is or it isn't, and you can make a stance. If you can just sit there and say, make up whatever answer you want, and it's truth. I mean, that's like a really crappy psychology question. Right? Like, the sky's whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, it's like Lisa, I'm gonna determine like what kind of person you are, not from a Rorschach test, but what do you think Bill Skarsgård was? at the end of Castle Rock, then I can tell you all about your personality. Like, I don't want it that vague. I want it a little bit tighter than that.
I would like instead of those, like, in the websites where you have to click on, like, you type in your password and it has like the prove that you're not a robot by clicking on these images and have a car. I think it just changed that because there's no way a computer could figure that out, right? And I think it should have to force you to explain what the nature of Bill Skarsgård's character. I feel like machines would explode trying to come up with that.
Do you think they go back at all? Because each season is supposed to be a new story, but it's supposed to be in the same universe. So technically,
I say they bury
not. Apparently, they're done with the Henry Deaver.
I say they bury the story in the basement of Shawshank, and we never speak of it again.
They put the story in a suitcase and bury it. Just like that dog. Yep. That's what you're saying.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't have brought the dog death into it, but well, that is your area of
expertise.
Yeah. Jesus. All right. So I think we'll have one more, I'd like to let us all sit on it, think about it. Maybe we have one more talk about the whole season. I don't know if there really is anything else to say. I think we're all pretty disappointed about it. I guess in the past we've talked about what else we would like to see from the show. So I guess, is there any, let's do what would you have done differently for really the show? And maybe if you were a character, what would you have done differently? Because the face I just got from Lisa is her answer would have been write a better final episode.
Thank you. Done. Good night.
Nate, if you were a character in this show or this finale, what would you have done differently?
So if I'm Henry Deaver, I'm gonna say OG Henry Deaver, the first Henry Deaver we see.
OG,
and I think that I think that Andre Holland did a great job as Henry Deaver in the season. So I don't want to diminish that. He was good. Melanie Linsky, who played Molly, was really good too.
Yeah.
Bill Skarsgård was good. Sissy Paycheck was good.
The issue with the show is certainly not the acting or the casting.
Scott Glenn was good as Alan. He was great. Sissy Paycheck was great. They might have been the best two. Jane Levy wasn't given enough to do, so it's kind of hard to tell. But generally, the top 5-6 actors in this show did a great job. I think the only thing you can ever say is like the writing. But if I would do something differently, if I'm OG Henry and Bill Skarsgård's gotta say that you believe Bill Skarsgård is the devil, right? Okay. I think Bill Skarsgård's the devil, or I think he's evil, and I want to lock him up forever. Hey, instead of locking him up, why don't you send him to the portal so he can get the fuck out of your dimension?
Yeah. I mean, I guess he's worried maybe he's going to go through it and be trapped again too, but I don't know.
Right? I mean, so instead of locking someone up.
What a asshole motivation, right? This guy's so evil, he just wants to go back to his wife and his family.
It's like,
what a horrible person.
He wants to leave. You're locking someone away who you know has already been locked up, who then eventually gets out because he doesn't age. You know this. He makes the person who's jailing him go crazy, painting 100 paintings of him. You know that a bunch of shit happened as soon as he got out, and he'll get out. He'll get out again. You'll die. Something will happen. Like, he doesn't age, right? He has infinite time. Send him into the portal to go back. Let it be someone else's problem. Yeah. Or he goes back to his own time like you did, because you're starting to actually remember. So now he has been in the same position and he makes the asshole decision even more. So I would just not do any of that. Send him on his way.
Yeah, if I was Leisure Suit Henry, I would maybe just not help this kid. Which seems like he would have saved himself a lot of trouble had he just not got involved.
Well, Molly pushed him to go to the woods. I don't know.
I tell Molly, you can take him. Y'all have a good luck. Good luck on your mystical voyage.
Yeah, I mean, Molly. Come on. This is like some D-level grade Shining. Like, come on. Dude, your power was basically worthless almost the whole season.
Lisa, what do you do differently?
Besides write something differently?
Different, yeah.
So I how about this, Lisa? Since you hated the ending, what is your ending? What is your different ending?
Gosh. I would have liked to have seen Henry gone back. Skarsgård go back. But what I told Mitch, the way I had called it at one point was I thought it was going to get so screwy that they were going to stumble into Wendell in the schisma, and then Wendell was going to get stuck in another timeline.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? So they all end up there, and Skarsgård ends up back, but Wendell, since can hear the schisma too, kind of gets messed up, and then he ends up in another timeline, and maybe that's where they go for season 2.
I had to really think about Wendell, who Wendell is, because literally not used it anyway. It's
exactly.
Oh shit, who's Wendell? Oh yeah, Wendell. I was thinking it might be something like Bill Skarsgård ends up going back, but it's been so long, his wife's old, and his kid's already dead or something, and that would suck.
And he would go crazy because he missed everything.
The wife and knows where he disappeared, and she's trying to find him, and they like switch places or something.
Yeah,
or
something
like
crazy
that
like
would
that.
have been amazingly good.
Guys, the better ending. The better ending is he gets back into his time zone or his timeline, but the time zone. Yeah, he flies over Continental.
Castle
he
Rock
gets back into
Standard
his
Time,
timeline.
CST. Yeah, exactly.
No, but he gets back into his timeline, but he gets charged with Molly's murder and ends up being put in prison in his timeline.
I like that too. That's better.
And so
See how many brilliant
he winds
endings we
up in
came
the
up
exact
with?
same position.
In about 30 seconds here.
Yeah.
Imagine
agreed.
he goes in the Schisma Planet of the Apes crossover. Like he
I also would have.
come on.
Yeah, I also
Why
would have been. I also would have been fine if they had
Dr.
done more of
Dr.
a.
Zayas?
Huh? Yeah, I never Dr. Zayas. I wonder. The Troy McClure version. I wonder if I also think it would have been cool if they had done. They were talking about how the Schisma is about correcting mistakes. It almost would have been interesting to see if the timelines collapsed on one another.
Yeah. Hey, this is the first and last season of Castle Rock. The universe imploded. Thank you for watching. Like that could be it. That would be awesome.
Yeah, maybe the next season is in one of the other reality.
I assume it would be, or it's Jackie. So I mean, you got two options, but yeah, any of our endings were better than this ending. So.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode. Nate, where can they find us?
You can be disappointed at Castle Rock's season finale with us at TX Pod Massacre. Check out our website at TexasPodcastMassacre.com. Yeah, contact us at TexasPodcastMassacre@gmail.com. We are on all your favorite podcast platforms: Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, and all the other ones.
That's right. Thank you all so much for your reviews, your comments. We really appreciate everyone who's taking the time to rate the show. If you haven't, make sure to do so. Help us get to more future listeners and, or people that, you want to wish, that they have to suffer through this like we had to suffer through this show.
Yeah.
Either way.
I memean, if this show has taught us anything, is if you know someone with Alzheimer's, this is the show for them. So,
Oh, Jesus.
that I'm just saying that just to start with.
All right. Well, from all of us here at Texas Podcast Massacre, thank you so much for tuning in, and just keep telling yourself it's only a show. Good night.